Hey guys, and welcome back to Shovel Knight, Specter of Torment. Much like with Mole Knight's stage, Lost City, we actually start with a bit of a unexpected outdoor segment for the Iron Well. I like how Specter of Torment is, you know, shaking things up in the level design department, I gotta say.
Kinda gives me sort of callbacks too. I could have sworn there was like, you know, like another game from my youth that kind of had an area sort of like this, maybe on, you know, like on the outskirts of like the other main ocean level. The only one that comes to mind is Echo the Dolphin. Like, you remember at the beginning where you're in that cute little, you know, valley? It's great, you're playing with your family, it's awesome. Then fucking aliens come in out of nowhere and suck everything up. Wasn't that great?
Oh, well, thankfully I never played Echo as a child. The only experience I had of it was the gorgeous comic strip in Sonic the Comic before they made it exclusively Sonic and took out stuff like Streets of Rage, Eternal Champions, Decap Attack, and so on. Especially sad about the last one, because Decap Attack was funny as shit, man.
Apparently, like, they never had a Rystar comic, but I do believe, like, at least a while ago, there was like a fan movement where they were kind of they were kind of trying to mimic the magazine in a way. I think maybe it was a fan publication. They actually had some quote-unquote fan Rystar comics, as in the UK style. And of course, you know, being the fact that it is based on, you know, UK Sega comics, it was weird as fuck, and I did not understand why the hell they went with some of the choices they made in that.
Oh, you're talking about Sonic the Comic Online, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, you know, they decided to... Is that still going? Do you know?
Let me look. Let's see, please donate via PayPal to help keep the comic running. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Let's check the back issues.
And you don't have to buy the back issues, do you?
No, thankfully, no. Okay, the last one came out in July of 2016 and featured Silver, so,
That sounds dead to me, I'll be honest with you guys.
yeah, well, at least it matches Archie in that department.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Oh yeah, water levels. As for this version of the Iron Well, it's, you know, I would actually kind of find it... I think I had a easier time with this version of the stage as opposed to when I normally played through it, you know, as part of the other campaigns.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the warp slash, or I keep calling it a warp slash, it's a dash slash, but you're warping to a few inches over to the side. I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the dash slash does make it kind of easier to traverse some of these, you know, locales, and it's still pretty satisfying to use. It's just, it feels a little bit more intuitive, I think. So, yeah, I definitely had an easier time overall with this version of the stage.
Here's the thing, though. Even though it was easier, did you find it less fun?
Well, no, I found it quite fun, actually, because, again, the platforming is so satisfying, especially in this version of the stage, that it was just a joy to play through. So, yeah, I definitely gotta give it props. It's actually one of my more favorite Specter of Torment stages.
Neat. What's your least favorite Specter of Torment stage? Is it one we haven't seen yet?
I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. I can't think of one I hated. I guess the ones I disliked the most were the ones where I just could not get a grip on the platforming. Maybe Mole Knight's, in that kind of sense. I can't really say Polar Knight stage, because really only the boss gave me a bunch of trouble with that. Beyond that, I can't really tell you one that I outright hated, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I guess I'm just gonna give up on getting that pink diamond. Fuck it, I don't want it anymore.
Well, don't worry, it'll be shattered soon enough.
Yes, topical. You know we're like on a hiatus now, right? Where you gotta rub salt in the wound.
Oh, I am well aware of our hiatus with Steven Universe. Now that you've converted me to that fold of being a fan of that show, I am painfully aware of how hiatuses go in that series. So yes, I am quite aware of this.
Well, you haven't lived through the worst of it, you fucking Fairweather fan. Suffer with me. Burn with me.
Oh, I'm burning, alright. Fuck, I fucking marathoned it with you, and I barely marathon anything, so you should consider yourself lucky.
This guy is so much easier with the diagonal slash in Specter of Torment. Holy shit, is he ever easier.
Just pretty much have to get into this position you're in right now, you know, Thomas showing off, and it's very easy to keep warping in on the chest to do damage, but you do, again, like, don't get cocky. It's very easy to accidentally get tagged by the fish or, you know, fall off of the platform there, well, with those bubbles.
Alright, let's finish this.
Wait, you didn't even give the boss a chance to do anything. You just gave it one pass. Let's finish this. I'm not even going to dignify this with a boss fight. I do like how it drops a live fish and you can actually eat those still. I'm guessing that means Specter Knight can eat food. He just chooses not to? I don't know.
Well, that's the undead for you. They can survive without sustenance, but I guess they get nostalgic sometimes.
I don't know, I like the idea of Specter Knight being like a revenant of the dead, but he still likes a really nice juicy burger. Like, all the cafeteria has is like that skull chicken he's been getting, and he's sitting there and he looks at it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need something that was breathing at one point.
Well, technically it was breathing at some point, just not anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you miss out on so many juices, except blood, but that technically doesn't count, so.
This puts me in mind of, this wasn't really the greatest spin-off ever, but Torchwood, which was a spin-off to Doctor Who, where a certain character at one point dies and gets brought back to life, but much like we're discussing here, he can't actually eat or drink anything, and like any wounds he get won't heal, because obviously certain factors of the body have been nullified. So whenever he drinks something, he has to basically stand on his head until he vomits it back up.
Oh, well, that's pleasant, I suppose. I did not know Torchwood was actually a spin-off of Doctor Who, because I have heard of that show, but I did not know it was related to Doctor Who in any way, because you know I do not consume any fictional media whatsoever these days.
Yeah, you are a bit of a pleb like that, I suppose. Are there any shows that you're watching on your own, as opposed to us watching right now?
I'll have to be honest, a lot of the shows I'm pretty much watching with you because I find it more fun that way. Right now it's just, we're watching Q Ranger because you want to see me suffer. There's Steven Universe, obviously. We were doing Pokemon, but after a while they just weren't subbing stuff. I'm like, shit, I ain't got the fucking time. Beyond that, there's not really much else I'm catching up with. It's mostly just video games and reading boring, personal development books. That's kind of the extent of my hobbies these days.
Well, it's nice to have a hobby, and reading's a good one, I suppose. You should always read, kids. You don't want to turn into N-Top, who sits at home all day, every day, talking over video games. I'm going fucking mental, mate!
You know, you make a joke about that, but I am pretty sure I can go into like a Books A Million and find a book about making a living on YouTube, because people have done it before. And let me tell you something, you want to see an industry that loves to exploit the fuck out of people, go look at the self-help industry, because there's so many fucking self-help books written by people who don't really know what the fuck they're doing, but they make mad amounts of dosh, because again, everybody wants to improve their lives. It's just, sometimes the information is not exactly up to stuff for that, you know what I'm saying?
We're not ignoring Mr. Big Gob over it, or the fucking bubbles that you can do diagonal slashes on to get places. Man, that was a nightmare tier depth right there, but I just want to comment on this. Come on, that's not fair.
Yeah, you were clearly on the platform there. I think they kind of, did that a little bit. At least you had the Green Goblin Cave. I think I'd rather call it that, at least, than, the Daily Dose. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of props, okay?
It's you who's out, Spectre. Out of your mind.
I say that quote whenever I can for any situation, even if it doesn't fit.
Oh,
I just want to say something Gavo out of your mind to, like, anything that happens.
My favourite offensive meme has to be Raimi posting on TV, 4chan's TV board, where they just take like scenes from any of the Raimi Spider-Man films, but change the quote slightly to be like extremely offensive or racist and whatnot.
I want to see how they'll do Venom, because apparently they are thinking of doing Venom in like the movie after Homecoming, at least. So I want to see if they'll give that another shot, because I'd like to see that.
Oh, a Black Spider-Man, I'm not sure about that. I completely forgot what my original point was. Alright, self-help. Do you agree with George Carlin's, belief of self-help shouldn't be a thing? Because it's fucking self-help. Why are you going to someone else for that?
I don't know. George Carlin has a lot of views I don't personally agree with, and I never really found him funny, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You mentioned this.
But, I don't think there's anything wrong with learning from anybody else. There's another great quote by somebody that I don't remember the name of, but I read about this recently. It said, don't take advice from somebody you wouldn't want to switch places with. So even if you want to switch places a little bit, I think it's worth asking them for advice. But that's just my view on it.
Fair enough. Treasure Knight honestly hasn't changed all that much. He has maybe one or two different attacks. He has a walking animation now, which is very un-Mega Man-esque, because they basically just hop around the place, really.
That's true. I mean, like, again, I was very pleasantly surprised by, and you just already killed him, so I can't even talk about it.
Oh, it's fine. We got 5 minutes left. Go for it.
I was really pleasantly surprised with the new attacks they gave Treasure Knight. He's still kind of a huge joke, but I did have to try a little bit harder with him on this time. So, you know, kudos.
Kudos indeed, yes. Look, there's the Iron Whale in the background. Oh, glorious.
And too bad it gets dissolved for a flashback. So you're falling from a cliff. What are you gonna do now?
I'm going to Disneyland. Ugh.
I'm going to expel my guts, because I think they're coming out of my body. Hold on.
Yes, and of course at this point, Shield Knight has fallen prey to the power of the amulet and become the Enchantress.
Listen, I can't talk. My blood's going everywhere. I really can't have a conversation right now.
Well, that's good, because we're talking inside your mind palace right now. Are you just fucking with me? Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. Do you want to become a Revenant? It's either that or shit out my brain, so yes.
You'll get powers. Political powers? Sure, okay, let's go with that.
Political favors.
Hey, these days it's definitely helpful. I mean, those guys are basically undead revenants anyway, so...
Oh, it's gonna hurt so good!
Let me ask you a okay, well, no, scythes. No, I guess that pun doesn't really work.
You could have said just a little off the top, really?
Listen, do I need to use a scythe? I'm pretty good with my sword. No, you are a Specter Knight, not a Sword Knight.
Let's see. Do you have anything in male jewelry? I'm not really keen to amulets and whatnot. Oh, it's a locket now. Okay, I guess it changed jewelry properties.
Alright, I will change your Polly Pocket into a Mighty Max. Okay, sure.
My only memory of a Mighty Max is I had the Egyptian snake thingamabob, and I think I got the mummy figure stuck in the door, and I could never get it out. It rested like that forever.
So pretty much you prevented that mummy from escaping, so you are in fact a hero, Tom. You know that, right?
Yes. Yes, I am. And yes, the locket is in fact the phase locket, and that's why, you know, in the ending of Shovel of Hope, when Speccy here goes to check on the place where he put the thingamabob, he's like, "Oh, curse you, Shovel Knight!" Yeah.
Yeah, I really like how they tied the phase locket in with the Specter of Torment campaign, and I love how it loops all around, especially when we get to the end of this. We'll see what happens to it. That's why I super want another thing, like, you know, after the events of Shovel Knight, you know, Shovel of Hope, where Specter Knight maybe tries to go after Shovel Knight to get the phase locket back because it has so much sentimental value, and then it would lead into like a multi-phase boss fight. You'd fight him normally, then you'd fight his Specter of Torment incarnation, and be rad as shit, in my opinion.
I think what would even be more rad than that, radder even, is if in Shovel Knight 2 you play as, well, the 4 characters who got campaigns in Shovel Knight, but it's kind of like a branching story.
Or they pull a Castlevania 3 in the sense that you can actually switch between them on the fly. I think that would be really neat too. Yes,
yes. Oh, it even fits as well. Like Cypher could be Plague Knight because of like magic and potions and whatnot. Grant Dynasty could be, you know, Speccy here, and I guess that leaves Alucard as King Knight. Actually, no, switch Grant and Alucard, and I think we've got a better comparison there.
Well, the point is it would work. It'd be a good callback to NES games, obviously. Now, this curio is the Chronos Coin, which I was telling you guys about earlier. You definitely want to get that because it will help a ton during later platforming segments, especially the last one, and I think we all know what the last stage of this campaign is gonna be, guys!
Oh, indeed, indeed. What do you think about the feather, though? The hovering feather?
I didn't find a lot of uses for it, but watching later on videos a little bit, you actually put it to really good use. I have to commend you on that one, so it's really evaluated my opinion about it. So if I ever play this again, I'll definitely give it another shot.
I would say it invalidated your opinion, because it replaced it with a better one.
Well, yeah, I mean, you didn't have to be a smug asshole about it just now, but yes, you are right.
Well, I learned from the best, what can I say? I wonder what animal this feather came from. Will we get an entirely new game to discuss the origins of the feather plume or the hover plume?
Yeah, let's give this an elaborate backstory for some fucking reason. I don't know.
I still love the puns for the merchants. We are Manny, we are Legion. Oh, beautiful.
You guys can just stop moving. I'm gonna go on my way.
you know, Reese, one of these days we're gonna have words, and it's just gonna be a repeat of the first fight, honestly, and, well, you're lucky it's the end of the part, that's all I'm saying. Fittingly, we are gonna end things in the Lich Yard, so come back, I guess, later today for the final stage of Specter of Torment.